Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hello. If you're an oldie, welcome back. So good to see you here. So here's a question I want to pose to you as we start this video. Are you consuming or are you being consumed? Interesting, right? So in the digital age of social media, we've got Instagram, we've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, we've got YouTube right now. You're watching this video. We've got all these social media platforms that we are constantly consuming information, gossip, whatever the case is. And this happens intentionally. This happens unintentionally. This literally can happen while you're just listening to something, an ad comes through and you consume something. And the biggest question I've had to ask a lot of people in my circle and on my social media platforms, which I think you should be following me by now, is are you being consumed or are you consuming? Now, let's actually break this down a little to kind of give you the difference between the two. So when you are consuming something, you are taking it in, right? You are basically a book, you will consume a book, you consume a television show, those are things you consume. You are taking those things in intentionally or sometimes intentionally because these ads and these things that just come in the way of whatever it is that we're watching, right? That is what consuming is. Being consumed means that thing is taking you in. It means that thing is literally calling you and is taking you in. It's taking your time, number one. It's taking your energy. It's taking your mental capacity. It's literally just getting you to a point where you didn't think you're going to get there. That is basically, in simple terms, what being consumed is. Now, let me give you a few examples to actually substantiate what we are going to be talking about today. If you're on Instagram right now, and I am literally going to blow my own horn, okay? I want you to know that in this video. Now, if you are on Instagram and you're scrolling through posts and then you bump into one of my beautiful posts on my Instagram stories talking about thinking big or winning or something like that, and you actually look at my picture and you click on that more to read more of my caption, and you read the caption and you feel super inspired, and then you comment about, oh, this week I'm gonna win, this week this is what I'm gonna do, and you get inspired and you love the post, right? That right there is consuming, because you are intentionally saying, oh, I really like this post, and you're clicking on it and you're commenting on it. So you're actually consuming the content. You're actually taking the message of a caption that you have really liked and you're saying, okay, I quite like this, so I'm going to engage, or I'm going to literally spend a bit of time engaging, or rather just thinking and pondering upon this point that Michelle has made. Another example could be the same. If, for instance, Label Lion, I absolutely love Label Lion, puts a post up about your business and being able to market your business correctly. You see the post and you're like, oh, this speaks to me a lot, and you go and you engage. You basically read the caption and then you engage because you're like, great, I love this, and it gives you something to think about. It gives you a little bit of homework to be on some, okay, cool, this week this is what I'm going to do, or this week I'm going to put down this list, or I'm going to just start thinking about my business or what I do in this kind of way, right? You are consuming. That is you intentionally saying, okay, I like this and I think this is going to be valuable to me, and I think that this is going to help me in A, B, C, D, so I'm going to consume this content. Now, example 2 is you are still scrolling on Instagram, right? And as you're scrolling on Instagram, you come across a gossip page, for instance, and they're gossiping about somebody that you know or somebody that you follow. And what you do is you just look at it, but you're like, I'm not interested, but you scroll through. And then you see someone else post about it again. You're like, oh, okay, whatever, that's interesting. And before you know it, you are literally 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour into consuming this content that is not going to do absolutely anything for you. And I don't know if you've caught yourself doing this multiple times, but I have several times. I catch myself consuming something and I'm just like, actually, I'm being consumed here. I am literally being consumed because I'm going through a rabbit hole of clicking after clicking after clicking after clicking, and halfway through you're like, actually, this is none of my business. This is really none of my business. But the difference between these two examples to actually tell you when you're being consumed and when you're actually consuming something is what happens after you've consumed it, right? So example 1, after you've watched a Label Lion post or a Michelle Expert post, what will happen is halfway through the day, you're possibly thinking about it. You will go journal a little bit. You'll start thinking about, okay, cool. So how do I position my business like that? Or how do I work on this as far as my personal development is concerned? Those are the thoughts that you start having, because now you're starting to reflect, and now you're starting to say, okay, how can I carve a strategy that is going to help me and that is going to actually help me mentally in my business, whatever the case is. However, with all the gossip pages that you've been reading through, you find yourself halfway through the day thinking about someone else's problems, thinking about someone else's gossip, thinking about someone else's personal life or dirty laundry that's been put out there on social media. And the moment you find yourself in that rabbit hole, you need to understand that you are being consumed. The moment you find yourself being consumed by something that is not going to benefit you, something that is not going to help you in any way, something that's not going to help you mentally, it's not going to help your business, it's not going to help you get more clients, it's basically just not going, it's just basically not going anywhere, but it's consuming you so much, and you're finding yourself being so interested in this thing that is technically none of your business. I want you to stop right there and realize that you are being consumed. Now, let me just say this. If you follow me and if you are on my social media platforms and you actually are watching this video, I assume that you've watched a little bit of my content, you kind of know the style that is on this channel. And one of the biggest things that I advocate for on all of my social media platforms is just your ability to be productive and your ability to live your dream. Your ability to live your dream. And this basically means that you need to be able to be fruitful in your thought process. You need to be able to be careful about what you consume so that you do not get consumed. Now, with that said, it is important to realize that you cannot spend your social media time, your data, your Wi-Fi, whatever it is, just to be consumed. Because at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, who is in charge? Actually, because when you are being consumed, the honest truth is you are not in charge. When you're being consumed, the people who are curating that content are actually in charge, because they are telling you what to think about. They are telling you that this is what you're going to think about the whole day. They're telling you that this is what you're going to be interested in. So it's just what it is. That's what being consumed is. But when you are consuming, you are in charge. You are saying, I want to consciously think about this. I want to consciously channel my mind to thinking about this particular thing because it's going to help my business, it's going to help my growth, it's going to help my mentality, and it's going to help me in general. That's what consuming is. So one of the biggest questions, the first question was, are you consuming or are you being consumed? And then the second question is, who's in charge? Who actually is in charge? And you need to actually ask yourself this question here. Mentally. It's not about who's in charge outward. It's not about like the egotistic, I'm in charge, I'm a boss babe, I'm a boss nigga, whatever the case is. But it is mainly about who is in charge mentally. In your mind, who is in charge? In here, who decides what you think about? Who decides what you consume? Who decides what you actually allow in your mind? And that is super important. I think for a lot of us, if you want to be a world changer, if you want to, change lives and just build a fruitful business, you need to be really, really, really cautious about the things that you allow to consume you. Now, let me also go ahead and say that sometimes we actually consume unintentionally. And I'll say it again. We actually consume unintentionally. Sometimes you're watching your favorite YouTube video like right now and then an ad goes through, because we basically encourage you guys to do these things because they do help us as creators. Still watch those ads. However, but an unrelated ad comes up and you're just like, okay, this is cool, this is interesting, or it's gossip, or it's this ad about this thing I'm really not interested in. But what has it done? It's captured your mind. What it has done is it's made you start thinking about it, or it's literally planted a seed in your mind for you to continuously think about over time, right? That is consuming unintentionally. But when you intentionally go on social media and you unproductively go through posts and engage in things that you know that you shouldn't be engaging in, commenting on things that you know that your opinion is basically not needed and you shouldn't even be bothering consuming and being consumed by that thing, then you are intentionally allowing something to consume you, and that is unproductive for your mind, unproductive for your time, and unproductive for every other thing that you want to build. So I literally just want this video to be a seed that you're going to plant in your life and the seed that you're going to plant in your mind this week. And that is you asking yourself this question: are you consuming or are you being consumed? And who is in charge? I would gently advise you to consume rather than being consumed, and for you to be in charge of the things that you allow in your mind and the things that you actually allow in your heart. Because at the end of the day, you matter the most. At the end of the day, whatever vision or whatever thing that you are trying to build is not going to be successful and sustainable if you as the entrepreneur, you as the visionary, are not on top of your game. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I don't know what you're trying to do, child, but this is the best time to do that. You hit the subscribe button down here and the notification bell as well, you guys, so you can be notified when I am posting content. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. We have a lot of these conversations there, and I do lives every now and then to talk about basically anything and everything that me and you are actually interested in. So thank you once again. I'll see you guys next time. Mwah!